Hello everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. That stands for Tips, Tricks, and Talks. And so today I'm joined by a very special guest, and that is my friend Sagi from Tech Gear Talks. So Sagi, say hi to everyone. How's it going?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
And everyone, thanks for bearing with us while we were jumping in a little bit late. I know I was like, it's ironic, right? That two technical people can't make a live stream happen. But, you know, it's all...
We put it up there, and we made it work.
We did. We made it work. We did. Okay, so we always start with a very important question. Do you know what that question is?
I don't. What is the most... What is it?
Did you not read the email that I sent you first? I said this is the first question that we always start with.
Did you actually... Did it really say that? No, but now there you go. Now it's going to be a candid answer.
Everyone in the audience, if you know what the question is, you can put it in.
Fail.
So, yeah,
Total
my guest
fail.
is a fail right now. So, it's the most important
Well,
question.
thank you for your time, everyone.
It's Thirsty Thursday, which means we ask the question of what's in your cup. This is where you share with us what it is that you're drinking, and then we talk to everyone about that. So, what's in your cup today?
Coffee.
Uh-huh.
I'm not afraid to drink coffee late at night.
Oh, me either.
You know, tomorrow's going to be a big day, beginning of a couple days. So
How do you take your coffee?
Taking it easy. Probably in a way that no one else drinks it. With maple syrup and a lot of milk. Like a lot of milk. Like,
well,
it's
I heard some people
coffee-ish.
do, like butter in their coffee. So it's not that weird.
Have you tried that?
No, I'd be willing to try it, but I have not tried it yet.
I've heard of that too, and then
Yeah.
I was like, and then I'm like, well.
And you're like, you're right, you can't knock it until
How
you
bad
tried
can
it, but I'm
be?
like,
Yep.
yeah, why not, right? Yeah, okay. So what's in my
Some
cup
butter in
today? I know.
Yeah, what do you got there?
You better believe it. So we are drinking from the Gary V Wine of the Month Club, and this one was sent.
Nice.
It is the Elk Cove Vineyards 2018 Willamette Valley Estate Pinot Noir. So we're going to try this one and see how it goes. And if you've never
Great.
seen this trick, by the way, I talk about this every week, and I will incessantly until the world knows how to do this. Do you know what this is? This is the top from the little
Yeah.
bottle. And do you know why we do it that way? This is all of my years in like food service coming up to the surface and bubbling up.
No.
See,
I don't know why we do it
This
that
is why this is how I know that you haven't been coming to my live streams, because I open every show with this. It's a tutorial about
I'm always
this.
late.
That is true. That is true.
What
Okay. For the ASMR folks. So the reason we do this is because if you were someone who doesn't finish your bottle of wine at dinner, you do the cork in the lid with a little squish, and you place it on the table, and your cork would not roll away. So then you could
look at
bottle it up and
that.
take it with you. So
Just finish your wine, and then you don't have to worry about it.
I know, right?
And-
Especially.
Don't-
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, this is happening live.
There we
No
go.
pressure.
No pressure at all. Oh, we've done the hard part already. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So today, you want to tell the people out there what we're talking about today? And hello to Annette and Becky and Adam and everyone out there. Vipers in the house. Hello to everybody out there. Yeah, tell them what we're talking about.
What is up, everyone? We are going to chop it up about this new iPhone 13 that's coming out tomorrow. Is it worth upgrading? Is it worth getting? We're going to talk all about it.
Yes, and one of the people actually that helped inspire this video idea or this stream chat that I wanted to have with my friend here is Annette. So she Instagram DM'd me and said, hey, Shelly, I have the 11. Do you think it's worth upgrading? What do you think? And I was like, I bet you there are a lot of people out there who have certain amounts of phones, and they're like, is it worth the upgrade from this level and higher? So I was like, you know what, let's chat about this together. Now, there's several criteria that I have when we're talking about the iPhone 13. We will go through all of them. Oh, you haven't been to my streams. I am a post-it
got
note
notes.
person. I am a post-it
Nice.
note person. I am always. Okay,
I
so
like
we're going to
it.
be talking about battery, price, the camera functions, the colors, the processors, and the video. All of those
Okay.
things combined will kind of help determine whether or not someone should or should not upgrade to the iPhone 13. So,
Yeah.
are we ready to dive in? And if anyone
go.
out there has, if you're thinking of upgrading, let us know what phone you're using right now and if you're thinking of upgrading or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
let
because
us
I
know.
think that's that's, probably going to be a major component. Like, unless you're someone who gets a new phone every year and just because you want the latest, then this doesn't matter. But if you're not, then let's help them make a decision here.
Absolutely. And especially, like, I'm the world's worst phone and tech reviewer, so at least they'll hear it from someone who's trusted and knowledgeable. So
Look at the second worst. Okay, we got that covered.
that's right, folks. You heard it here first. Okay, so the first thing that we have to talk about is the battery. Now, one of the things that they've touted so much about an improvement on the iPhone 13 series is that the iPhone battery is better than last year, which is really just them admitting that their batteries were kind of crap last year. Is that kind of how you took that? That's how I took that.
I mean, that's definitely not how they positioned it, but
I'm reading the subtext of the PR fluff.
But look, to be honest, like with iPads, for example, we don't really see battery improvements in terms of hours necessarily every year. So like I'm excited. I was excited to hear that it's better battery life. I guess because I've like sort of taken this for granted. It is what it is. So if you're going to give me another hour and a half or another 2.5 hours, I'll take it.
Right. And so they did mention it's an hour and a half on some of them, 2.5 up on the Pro Max, which they also did a little bit something kind of cool with that L-shaped battery in the back to make room for more of that battery. So that's an interesting move that they've made. So I know one of the biggest phone improvements for them was the mini. The battery life, as much as people have like dogged on it before, it seems like they've maybe fixed that a little bit on the mini. And a lot of people really like that form factor. Do you think that the mini, this is the last version we'll see of it, or you think they'll keep going with that in the next series? This is tech predictions.
I mean, this is predictions, but so I wasn't sure. Like, I thought the mini was too small, but I was like, for me, well, I didn't think it was too small. It was good. It's too small for what I want on a phone. But I've talked to some people who, may have smaller hands or if they're like younger and saying that like, it works perfectly for them. But what was interesting is I would then ask them, well, when I say people, I talked to our 13-year-old and I asked her like, do her friends have it? And basically and then I asked her, would you want it? Like, would you want that phone over a regular size phone? And she says, it would be more comfortable to hold, but I'm not willing to give up on the larger display. So I thought that was, that was like a thoughtful, like, which went through the process.
So one thing that's interesting is I last year was already mad that I had gotten the 12 Pro Max because I wanted that sensor shifting, technology that was only available in the Pro Max version, not even in the Pro. And I did not like it with the weird edges that were flat. It just made the phone feel gigantic. And I was already thinking of going down in size, so I was already mad that I had to get the Pro Max. And I ended up returning that phone. And so I did. And so I was really, really, when I saw that this year, at least, well, all the phones have the sensor shift technology, but the features are really the same in the Pro line with the exception of the screen size. And I was like, kudos to them for actually doing that, because that would really piss me off about the last version is like, you don't think people want smaller screens, but all the features?
So I was on the other side of that decision. I wanted all the features. I'm going to nerd out about the camera features. And I knew that phone was going to be too big for me, so I have just a Pro. And I was disappointed last year because I'm like, well, I'm willing to pay more for those features. I would have even paid the same amount.
Yeah, for the smaller screen,
I
but
just
with all
want
the
the
features.
smaller form factor. Exactly. Like, I want the features, and I didn't like that there was a separation there.
No, we're actually saying the same thing, because that's exactly how I felt.
And no, but like, what I meant is, but then you still tried it. Like, I didn't try it. I knew it wasn't going to work for me. You were like, no, I really want these features. I'm going to give it a shot. And then you were like, nope.
I was mad.
So I was watching the event this year, and I'm like, please be in both. Please be in. And then they set it up. I'm like, yes,
I did. I visibly kind of like did one of the, absolutely. I think that's really, really important because there's some people, that phone is just too big. It's too big. And I'm like, you've seen how many people really like the mini size? And I'm like, people will choose to go with a smaller phone. And so I returned it. And I went back to my 11 Pro Max. And
Okay.
so I then, this year I was considering, should I upgrade to the 13 from the 11 Pro Max? So one of the decisions was, am I going to get all the features? And now it's in Pro and Pro Max. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's a ding for that. By the way, I'm going to say hello to Dutch Can Jam. Hey, Dave, go check your Twitter DMs. I don't know if you saw it, but I sent you a little gift for being my first ever mod, and I don't think you saw it, so go check your DM so you can see that. Okay, so the next thing up is going to be the price. What did you think of the price? That they pretty much made it the same as the 12.
I mean, I was fine with it. Like, I almost feel like if you're looking at an iPhone, like you know where they're coming in. Like they're gonna start where they are, and then you're not sure. Right? You're waiting. You're like, is it gonna be an extra $100 this year, or are we gonna keep it where it is? So keeping it where it is. Now, a lot of people are also talking about all the upgrades sort of being incremental.
Some people did say maybe it should have been the 12S.
But so I'm always glad to get more for the same amount of money. And just a quick question. So are you using the 11 Pro Max now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yes. So one thing I do want to cover as well is this is the first year we've really seen Apple participate in a lot of the trade-in value that you usually see like with Samsung, like $600 off extra with your carrier and all the way back to like iPhone 10s, iPhone 8s, stuff like that, like some pretty good value. So I'm actually trading in an extra iPhone 10 that I have, and they're giving me $200 instant credit, plus you get an additional $600 with Verizon. And I'm like, that phone's just sitting here, and if I sold it, it would be like $150. So like, why not? But I did think it was weird that you only get that deal if you sign up for their 30-month on the Pro or, on the Pro Max versus the 24 months on the other models. So you don't really get that value unless you actually stay with that phone for like 2 years. So I thought that was or 30 months actually. So it was an interesting way to do that. But I was still happy to see it.
Yeah, because I think if they're doing it like the other phones, you don't get the credit, right? Like they'll take it off your bill every month.
Yeah, it's a bill
you just
credit
won't
every
get
month.
Charged for it. So, I mean, it's a way for them to keep you as a client, obviously.
But don't you think it's actually making people not upgrade their phones as fast? You would think that it almost is a forcing function for you to upgrade slower. So I was like, are they doing that on purpose? Like, what would be the point?
Well, so my question would be, because you're getting the credit from Verizon. Verizon probably doesn't care whether you buy a phone or not. They just want you to be a Verizon client and pay every month. So the incentive is from them. The incentive from Apple is the $200, probably so that you stay with an iPhone. So I think it makes sense, like AT&T, right? Like the carriers just want you to stay with them, and so they're willing to give you that credit. It'd be interesting, like, I don't know how much money they actually make on you buying a phone through them.
Yeah.
I'm sure they make way more on the monthly fee.
Oh,
than
yeah,
we
for
pay
sure.
For the service.
Yeah, because, of course, you have to be on a plan that has 5G on it, and those plans aren't cheap. Those Verizon plans are good, $100 a month or whatever else it is to be on those plans. So, I mean, they've locked you in there. But, at some point, once you get to your, 2-year point or something, you may find that trade-off is no longer really worth it. And you're just like, whatever, let me go get another phone. But I just thought it was an interesting way for them to actually price that. But with that, an iPhone 10 is going to gather me, garner $800 in the end, which is pretty nuts if you think about that.
I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I was willing to actually just pay the full thing up front, but I'm like, if I can actually just get these bill credits and get all this credit, I'm like, why not? Why not? It sounds like a better way to go. So there's
you're
that
gonna
on
get
price.
The Pro.
We haven't gotten that far.
Oh,
What
okay.
are you doing?
I know.
What are you doing? We're going to the end? Okay, Mr.
Fail.
Jump Right.
Failing. Just
You are failing all over the place.
Wow, that's strike 2, Sagi. It could be strike 3 if you start with the fact that we couldn't get. Couldn't get the stream to work. All right.
Yes, I do want people to. It's usually not me. It's not. It's the whole like works fine on my
Sagi,
machine.
it's not me. It's you.
Yeah, actually, when I broke up with my iPhone 12 Pro Max last year, that's what I said in the video. I'm like, it's not me. It's you. You gotta go. You can't hang out with me anymore. Nope, You can't be here. Also, hi to Zach Talks Tech, and hi to Pixelpia, and hi to El Jefe Reviews is in here, and he's saying, hey, I see you with your headphones, the Meze headphones. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
Nice. El Jefe. Nice. Okay, that was awesome. Okay, we've talked about the price. Now, let's talk about camera. We touched on it a little
but
bit.
before we go there, I mean,
Oh,
if you
we're not
check
ready
out
to
Zach
go
was
there.
saying that, no, because Zach said carriers make nothing on devices. It's all about the add-ons like warranty and accessories. So okay, so all right, cool. So that makes sense. All right,
Side
now
note?
what are we on to? Yeah,
Oh,
side
we're
note.
on to camera.
Side.
Oh yeah, I have Shelly squirrel brain over here. Side note, all over the place. I was really excited about that iPad, the iPad Mini. I thought that was like one of the highlights of the whole event. Just saying.
Is that something that's in your future? Or is this an out of order question that we should keep till after the iPhone
I
discussion?
appreciate you actually asking that question. Look at you.
Like start
learning.
asking you like typing questions to you. Be like, is this okay if I say this?
No. The answer is no. I don't know. Yes, of course. Of course. And out there, let us know what phone you're thinking of picking up or what phone you're currently using, even if it's not an Apple device. Absolutely, let us know. By the way, also side note, that Pixel 6, it looks really cool. I really like the Pixel phone, and I'm actually a little bit maybe more excited for that phone, which is weird, but I don't know how you feel about that, but just putting that out there.
I'm excited to. So the 5A was the first Pixel that I used, and I mean, and we could have an entire talk about that. But I thought that phone, like as a function of cost, I thought it was a good value. I enjoy it. I have it. I use it. I like it. Camera's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
No, I have an original Pixel, right?
Nice.
Yeah, because you know that anything you back up through the original Pixel is free. Original quality, whatever quality. So you could use it as just a pass-through hard drive to get up to the cloud, whatever. So I had a 4 and then a 5. I didn't get the 5A, but I think that I prefer using the Pixel 5 over the Samsung Galaxy S20. I really like this phone. And it's like triple the price. I don't think I'm missing out on anything by using the Pixel, and I think if they have an even more pro experience in their new 6, I'm really excited for that one because I don't really like the...
Plus, it looks kind of sweet. It doesn't look like any other phone.
Right? With that little headband visor looking thing?
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
The headband
I like
visor.
it. Yeah, and you know that Peachy really wants that like kind of orangish one. By the way, speaking of Peachy, I volunteered you, FYI, for a tech meetup in Ohio of Ohio people. Because I'm pretty sure that's where you are, and they were talking about it on Twitter.
Okay, that is where
and they were like, we should try and get together a whole bunch of us creators, and they were saying, yeah, me too, and Trent and Scott Peachy and I think someone else, and I was like, oh hey, you should get Sagi in there, and they're like, yeah, we'll invite him. So
they were like,
oh sorry.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm up for it.
Yeah. So anyways,
just let me know. Okay, yeah.
No, I was yeah, I voluntold you that you're going apparently to that. To go make more friends.
Get an email. Sagi, you're gonna be here on this date. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Time and place, right here.
No, it'll be fun. Like, it's interesting. Like, honestly, so before Clubhouse, I didn't really even know anyone local, and I've met a few people on Clubhouse where like we had been talking for months, and then all of a sudden they like said something in passing, and I'm like, wait, where are you? And it's like, oh, okay, you're like 10 minutes away from here, so. Yeah, it's cool.
Someone was saying, I think it was Trent. He was saying, I think I'm like 15 minutes from him. Yeah. But he's like, I totally would like to see him. I don't know what it is, but it's hard to sometimes meet up with people in your same city. So I was joking. Travis McP had made a comment on Twitter. He had in his latest video, he was like, yeah, and here's this iPad review from like Andrew Edwards, who lives 15 minutes from me and I never see him. And I'm like, honestly, same could be said for you. But like, I never see either of them unless and like at a conference out of the state. So like when we go to Vidsum, I'll get to see them even though they're both here like next to me. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, that's the forcing function to see people is, an event like that. So it's nice if you can do it with people that are local to you.
Yeah, so. I'm excited for Vid Summit again. Yeah. Another side note.
I know. Oh my God. No, all the side notes you want. Okay. All of them. We'll do them all. One of the things that I was doing today, by the way, I was trying to get finishing touches on my slideshow because I'm presenting at Vid Summit as well. I'm a little scared. But anyways.
Scared.
Shelly is scared. Shelly is very
It's
scared.
like a live show. It's
No,
like a live show, but
no,
live.
I know, but like it's a live show, but live. No,
It's like
it's
two
a little
lives.
terrifying because these are people. Like all of these people are people I respect, and I don't want to like. Not only am I going to represent me and
what are you saying?
and the company.
Are you, so I'm not someone you respect. Is okay.
I said anyone
I
sitting in
got
the
it.
audience at that talk who would choose to come is anyone at the conference. Period. Any of those. What
I'm
are you
just
trying
saying
to say?
you don't
How
have
are
a
you?
problem talking to me, and I'm sitting talk.
I'm not presenting about an entire subject with a slideshow right now, am I?
I have complete faith in you.
Well, I was just about to say, shut your
You
face,
got this.
Sagi, but like that was nice. So
Yep, that's
yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Except for
Okay,
that
you
last
got
part.
this.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got this.
Thank you. Anyways, I also have a whole bunch of other sessions that are happening at the same time that are really good. So I'm not fully expecting that a ton of people are going to come, but anyone who does choose to come, just know I'm up there going to be like scared and sweaty. That's me. Okay. So the next thing that we were talking about the camera in the iPhone 13.
We were.
Let's talk about the camera. Well, we were about to. We never maybe got to it, but
Okay.
this is what we're talking
so, before we like get to specs and stuff, like, do you?
you're gonna go there. I wasn't.
Oh, well, good, because we don't need to. All right, cool. Like, so I had the iPhone 10 and then went to the 12 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the iPhone 10 took good pictures, and I never felt like it wasn't great, and until I saw pictures from the new phone, and it was like, well, these are so much better. Like, they're so much better. And then you go back to the other one, and you're like, well, no. And so it's interesting because they are incremental improvements, but like when you combine like the actual improvements in the camera and like computational photography, like they just look so much better. So I
Yeah.
was wondering if you had similar experience because you did a 2 jump, or you're about to do a 2 jump.
I will be doing a 2 jump. Oh, spoiler alert. Okay, I ordered, but which one is?
Well,
is
to
the
something.
question.
I don't know which
To
one. I'm
something,
just saying,
right?
like one of them.
And there's actually a different thing right
The
there.
14? You're getting the 14 already?
How did you know? John Prosser showed me what it looked like, and I was like, no bezel, thank you very much. Or no notch. Yes, please sign me up. So here's actually a question for you, because a lot of people maybe are not going 12 to 13. It's 11. It's a 2 jump or more. Do you think that people should go for the 12 because a lot of them will be going on sale? You can get a lot of them used. Or do you think that people should actually, because a lot of them are going to be the same price, should actually go for a 13?
So, I mean, obviously, if it's the same price, go for the 13. Like, I always look at that delta and like, okay, like how cheap can you get a 12? And because if you're jumping from a 10 to a 12, it's already going to be an awesome upgrade. And so if you're saving 50% of the price, sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you're saving like $100, I feel like if you go to the 13, you're getting rid of that like what if, and you're not going to sit there and be like, okay, so I'm going to keep this phone for 3 years or 2 years, $100. It's like $8. Like you'll start doing that math.
Yes, you
not
do.
$8.
It's not. It's okay.
It's like $5 or 4.2 or something.
It's okay.
But yeah,
Don't
you
worry
get
about
my
it.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's too late for math.
It's too late.
It's just too late.
It's too late.
You're like, it's 5:30.
Yeah, it's okay
Not
though.
that late, Sagi.
But you're on East Coast time, so that's yeah, I get it. Apparently time does move at a different rate there for you though, because you were pretty sure that you were streaming at like 9 p.m. tonight. Is that correct?
Like, there was no like nothing to support that belief I had. But all day I was like, cool, like 9 p.m. I'm going on a stream. I'm so glad that I DM'd you on Instagram because I mean my phone would have reminded me, but I would have found out at like 8:25.
How would it have reminded you? Because you didn't actually accept the calendar invite until an hour before the stream. And not only that, you didn't read the calendar invite that had the list of all of the questions I would be asking you.
it may have been like 15 minutes before the stream that I
I'm not trying to
accepted
put you on the spot, but Spot meet Sagi.
Aren't
you guys fun together?
Okay, so maybe I would have been 30 minutes late to the stream. These things happen, Shelly.
I know.
And you just have to roll with the punches.
Why are we increasing the likelihood of them happening with you, though? Okay, that's cool. No, I am going to say, if you are someone who has a 12 and going into a 13, unless you need the extreme macro photography, the tiny bit more of telephoto, or, of course, we're going to talk about cinematic mode once we talk about the video specs, I feel like there probably isn't a good enough reason if you're on the 12 Pro to get into, like, the 13 Pro series. That's my personal opinion on that. I would wait for another year because I don't think it's a high enough priority, but that's just my hot take on that. Because I'm not going to be someone who's like, yeah, you have to get it every year, because I don't think you do sometimes.
So, like, unless you are someone... Okay, so I think that makes a lot of sense. I could see someone like me, but there was probably not too many, who wanted those features in the 12, like wanted the 12 Pro Max features and didn't get them because they didn't want the big phone, to now be able to go to the Pro and get those features. That might be like another reason to upgrade. Like, if you were like, I really want those. And then... Because then I feel like you're saying that's something I really wanted before, so I'm getting it. And now the additional benefits are like just like candy, like gift with purchase.
Yeah.
So.
And you do have to decide what some of those features mean to you, because something like cinematic mode, they've kind of said, hey, this is only going to be on this level and higher. You're not going to be able to get this with the software or iOS update. Like, it's only. So if that's really important to you, then you have to be in that level of phone or higher. So I think it's important that they like talk about that. But I think it's also an important factor for people to realize that a lot of the time, year after year, people are not upgrading their phones. It's not necessarily the norm unless you're in the tech review world, right, as you are. Right, you see a lot of people who are, on iPhone 8s or 10s, and now they're making the jump, and now it's a decision, and it's not usually the people who probably are looking at 11 and 12s that are kind of making that jump. But I will say that
I think that's right on.
Yeah, I'm really surprised and happy because I just downloaded iOS 15, right, because I didn't download the beta before, and I was really surprised and pleased at how far back the models go, that they still support, like, iOS upgrades, so... A lot of people, and Renee Ritchie would say, like, buy the best one you can at the time, and whatever you can afford, and ride that thing out until, like, you're ready to finally make a jump into a new one. And I think that's the norm, not, like, what we do.
So what do you think drives, put aside anyone who's using phone for content, your average user, what's driving them to make a change? At all? Right? Like, so if you're on a 7 or an 8, let's assume you don't have, like, horrible battery life.
I'm going to say screen size and battery life. That's for me.
And not the camera?
Because I think, here's the thing. Most people, like you said, like, one, you don't really know all the features, right? Like, how many people have you run into that didn't even know that even though their phone is capable of 4K, they don't know how to change the mode so that their phone actually does that? They already think they're doing it. Or they look at the size that is going to, like, be used when, right? So I saw a Twitter tweet from someone who said that the ProRes 1 minute was 1 gig or 7 gigs, something like that, like something just gargantuan. And they're like, good luck with that. I think it was 1 minute, 1 gig. So good luck with that, airdropping it to any devices or trying to actually work and modify that. Like, if you are a regular person, let's say on a 128 or a 64 gig device, you can't shoot a 15-minute video in ProRes and not, like, completely max out your phone. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not going to work for you. So I think most people, like, they're like, oh yeah, 1080, that sounds good enough. They think that that's impressive thing. So I think it's battery life and screen life. Like, when their old phone just stops being, like, functional in those ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. And especially if you're going to watch the content mostly on a mobile device anyways. Like, are you really going to see the difference between 4K and 1080? And I don't mean, like, if you're looking for the differences, right? Like, is the average person ever going to notice?
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of people, even though they have the capabilities on their phones, they're not going into their settings and changing YouTube to always play 4K because
right.
If they're on data plans, that are limiting that, or if they're just on home on Wi-Fi and they don't want to have to wait for some buffering to happen because they don't have the highest speed internet, Like they're like, okay, 720 is good or whatever else it is. Like I just don't find that a lot of people use it in that tech heavy way that the small percentage of us do, that seem to think that we speak for the masses. Like we don't speak for the masses. Most of them are still probably on an iPhone 10. You know? That's just my opinion on that one. But I will say the macro lens on the super wide with that like kind of the focusing, that looks really cool. And then like, of course, I guess now we can move into like a little bit with the cinematic mode. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'm like, these are the types of conversations I want to have with with like average user. No, but like, because are we the target market? Like, yeah, I think it's going to be awesome, and
we are the target market for that. Yeah, for sure.
But us
and the TikTok
kids. Yeah, like I think that one of the things that Apple is looking at is like how much content is being created, like not just for YouTube, but just content on mobile devices. And the more, right, like the saying of like the best camera is the one you have with you. Well, you're always going to have your phone with you. And now people are going to need to start making decisions about, is it worth bringing a real camera? Like, yes. I mean, I don't think that phones, I know they showed the sample and it did look really cool. But that was also on like a professional set. So I think there's going to be a difference between what the phone can do and what a mirrorless camera or a cinema camera can do. But how big of a difference, right? Like that gap is starting to shrink. And that's when that decision is like, well, I will have my phone with me no matter what. So I'm excited to also like try to get some of that footage and work it into my videos and see if people like, someone's like, wait, what was that clip? Like that didn't look right. Like if people actually notice.
I have plans to shoot videos with that one and see if people can tell the difference as well. Because, you know, I feel like a lot of people try and have that excuse of why they can't be on YouTube or, you know, the equipment and whatnot. But if you think about the cost of, let's say you get a 1 terabyte Pro or something, Pro Max, and you spend the $1,500 or something that it is, and you're actually thinking, hey, what does this look like in a mirrorless if I get a Sony full frame A7 III and that's, you know, $2,000 for the body before adding the lens, and now you're $3,000 in, right? Let's say if you get the FE lens. So you're $3,000 into that without any kind of like good audio, and you don't know how to use the camera and like work on all of the focusing type stuff, but you have this device that's in your pocket that can do all this stuff and is less money, and, you know, like that gap is really, really shrinking. And you can edit on, you can post from, right? I can't take phone calls on my phone or on my Sony camera, right?
You should be able to.
Yeah, that was the point of it.
It's not good at that. You can't send text messages. No, but so I think that is going to become like, because if you like, that was a huge part of the event, like just how much they talked about the cameras. So clearly they value it and they want people to see that it's there. So I'm excited to see what it can do. And again, like I'd love to, when I go somewhere on vacation, not bring an extra small camera just to get some footage. I'll probably bring it anyways, but then you can be a little more selective about where you take it. And if like the footage is good enough, because, you know, I'm not shooting a featured film, then that convenience factor is, I'll take it.
Yeah, I was actually considering between, for VidSummit, bringing and packing up my Sony 6400 or the ZV-1 or just bringing my iPhone 11 Pro Max and just calling it good with like a little mic on it and just vlogging with that, because it's so much easier to carry around and it's easier to charge. And I'm just like, why do I need to bring all the rest of this? Do I need to bring all the rest of this stuff? Like, I don't know if I do.
I mean, and the ZV-1 is like so small. The ZV-1 almost gives you like no excuse to bring. Not to bring, I would say.
Maybe.
But I hear you.
Yeah.
But you're like, it's not as small as my phone.
It's not. And it's not as convenient. And it has a different charger. And so the battery, like, you know, which isn't great on that one. Like, I can use a battery bank and just, you know, call it good. I mean, I could
shoot
charge
all day.
it to my grade. Yeah, exactly.
So, like, have you made a decision about that?
About what I'm bringing, gear-wise?
Yeah, about are you going to bring...
Not yet. I'm really disappointed because I did the Kickstarter for the Peter McKinnon Nomadic bag the backpack, the everyday one, because the other one was too big, right? This everyday one for, I don't know, people who aren't 6'5" would have been a lot better of a choice, but they have a whole bunch of delays for their bag. So it was supposed to be here in time for Vid Summit, but now it won't be. So I'm still kind of like, what am I going to pack all my gear in? And if I don't have this like really nice backpack and all this stuff to pack, maybe I should be more selective on what I'm bringing. And, you know, and then this debate of which camera, which phone, which whatever. So, yeah.
And when you use your phone to vlog, do you still use a microphone with it?
I would. Okay. I think one thing is I'm not a very good vlogger. I'm not very good at, but I have the Shure MV88 Plus that I usually would like stick on top, or I have the little Deity mic that I can stick on it too. So
nice.
Yeah. All right. What gear are you bringing to Vid Summit? Because I feel like everyone brings all of their gear. It's almost like a show and tell, and then you see everyone like in little almost like editing bays in the lobby trying to put out their vlogs of their experience at Vid Summit. Like every night they're just doing little things. So I don't know.
So I am I overpack. I overbring gear to every place, like to a degree that's unhealthy, probably. Like I usually bring bags of gear because I'm like, well, what if I want this? And if I don't use it, I don't use it. So this is like this ridiculous. So I'll probably bring an A7 III and an A7S III.
Oh my god.
With
No, justify yourself. Justify yourself. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm already like jumped off the. Okay, so because I'll also be taking pictures. I'm like trying to explain. Like nobody cares, Sagi. Just bring what you bring.
That's why I asked. I asked what's in the bag.
I mean, okay, so I'll probably bring a 70 to 200 and a 24 to 70. And
Grandmaster lens, the G series.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I looked at the price of that and then I just closed the browser. I was like, no, thank you. I was like, no, thanks.
All right. So, but here's what I will say. You will never.
I want it.
You'll never. No. But I will just say you will never need to replace that lens. So I have I don't know if you can see back there. Doesn't matter. Anyways.
Here, I can go a little wider. Hold on 1 second.
Those are Canon lenses. No, they're fine. People trust me. They're there. So that's like a 70 to 200 f2.8. It's not the latest version. I think it's the Mark II. I bought it probably like 10 years ago. And there's still no reason for me to upgrade. Like the new ones are better, but they're not enough better where I'll spend the money. And if I wanted to, it still has like a pretty good value. We can play that game of selling. So I'm a huge fan of it, like investing in lenses over camera bodies. If that's the choice, for sure. But I hear you. Like, you still, that price, you're just like...
Oh, yeah. It hurts.
What?
Although I did just... Okay, so obviously we've established that you don't watch my channel, so let me give you a little backstory here. Up until a few months ago, I was a Canon shooter, and I switched over fairly recently to Team Sony. And I used probably the Sigma 18 to 35 lens for 4 years, pretty much ever since I've had a YouTube channel. That was like my number one. It's like what I shot almost all of my videos on. I love that lens. I even tried to get like this, the Metabones adapter so I could use it on like the Sony 6400, but it made the camera so heavy and top heavy. I was like, no, so never mind. I was like, I'm sure I can just go find another lens kind of similar because I was like giving up all of the Canon glass. But like Sony, man, they really get you on that. But I found a dangerous spot, and 2 dangerous spots. One, I traded in all of my old Canon gear and I went down to a local camera shop and I got the Sony 6400 and the Sigma 16 millimeter, and like the
nice
18 to 135. So I was like, that's a pretty good kit. Like you got a little zoom, you got a little thing with a bokeh. And then I just wanted like that full frame. This is a whole thing, and this is a whole other side story. Sorry for anyone who actually doesn't give a crap about this at all, but we're just gonna... I have the microphone and you don't, so you will listen to the whole story until I'm done. So that includes you, Sagi. You didn't ask. I'm just giving you more time to talk, to drink your coffee. So I decided that I was gonna buy a full frame, right, instead of the crop sensor.
Okay.
So I started looking around, and I wanted the Sony A7S III. It's like it's the one I want, right? But my stupid ass went out and bought something on Facebook Marketplace for an A7 II because I was like, let me at least try it out and see and blah blah blah, all this stuff, right? And then immediately after, I had like buyer's remorse, but I got it for a pretty good deal, so I ended up taking that camera down to the Glazers, the camera shop, the one that I just got off Facebook Marketplace. And I was about to say this on last week's live, and then we never finished the story. But I decided to trade that one in, and I bought, they had a used, usually their used lenses are pretty good, but there's a Sony 16-35, the f.4. So I ended up getting that one because it's at least kind of like, it's not quite the G Master because I can't afford that, but I'm like, I think it's a good, nice wide one, right? It's a good lens. So I was like, okay, sweet. So now I have this lens, but I don't have a camera body, right? The full frame camera body. So there is this Facebook group called like the Sony buy and sell group. And so all it is people buy and sell Sony gear. And I found a Sony A7 III. And my stupid ass was like, yeah, let me do that, even though the S3 is what I want. I'm stupid, okay? And I'm a glutton for punishment. And I'm like, oh, I haven't bought a camera in 4 years. Let me now, immediately, consecutively, after one another, and still not be the camera I want.
So but consignment service here. Yeah,
pretty much. So Shelly, the consignment queen. So I just actually went to the UPS store about 10 minutes before I logged in for our stream, and it got shipped, and I was like, now that I have this, should I take it to Vidsum, or should I just bring my phone, or should I, that's my dilemma right now. And I'm like, I don't know, it's a lot to pack.
So the A7, it would be the A7 III with the 16-35?
Yes. Although I still have the 24 which isn't a great lens. Not the nice one, like the regular lens kit.
So just like another good lens is I think like this is one of the best values. It's a 17. It's a Tamron 17-28 f2.8, and it's nice and wide, and it's a f2.8. I think that's a really good value. Now it's funny that you said the Sigma 18-35. So that is my favorite lens.
It's my favorite ever
for every camera ever, and I do use it with my A6400.
Do you?
With the Sigma MC11, and it does make it heavy, like front heavy.
It's so front heavy that I was just like, my little arm couldn't take it.
That's how much I like it.
I know. I sat there too, and I was like, okay, because the adapter's like $300 or whatever it is, and then the lens, and I was just like, I've added all of this extra weight. I could probably just find this lens at some point with, and so I ended up returning it. It broke my heart, but I was like, it's my favorite lens.
It's so good. So I have two. I have two of them.
Of course you do.
Because so that's what I'm filming this with, by the way. And I was so annoyed at having to take it off of there every time because it's the one I want to use for B-roll too. That at some point I said,
you had to buy
okay, enough. I'm gonna get another one. Leave this.
Okay, well, you make that
alone.
sweet YouTube money. There you go, because you're a full-time YouTuber. So there's that. Anyways, that was a whole other side tangent.
Wake up, everyone.
I'm sorry, but I just wanted to talk lenses, apparently. I will have you know that when I did get the Sony A6400, yours was one of the reviews that I looked at, not only for a purchasing decision, but like hands-on specs and everything. So I want you to know you were part of that decision.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad I could help.
All right, so we've talked a little bit about, the auto focusing and the rack thing, which I think they had to spend so much time on because honestly there weren't that many other changes to talk about. I mean,
and look, and that's cool. Like subject tracking we needed for video. Like if you're actually going to use it for that type of video. What I'm interested in was it was cool that you can click on someone and then click again and you can shift focus and have it lock onto someone.
That is cool.
I'm interested in seeing how this AI works in real life. Like the fact that it could detect that you were looking back at someone else and it would shift to the other person. I don't know what kind of wizardry went into that. But
I'm curious about how you do it in the post edit too. Because they made that big deal about all of the stuff in Final Cut Pro and iMovie being able to read it and change and focus with that. I'm
like that's amazing to have a depth map for video where you're like, almost don't care about focus. Just frame it properly.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're
As long as it's in frame, you can choose later. And I was like, that blew my, like, why did they not
That
spend
is
more time talking
ridiculous.
about that? Like, that was impressive. I was like, wait, if you F it up during the shoot, doesn't matter, you can change it and it's still going to be fine. Not a problem.
No,
And I was like,
I
why did you
immediately
focus on
tweeted
that?
I want that in my real cameras. I want
Yeah.
to, like, think about it. That just means you'll have everything in focus, anything you want in focus, always.
But if everything's in
forever.
focus, is nothing in focus?
I don't mean at the same time.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just messing
If you
with you.
highlight everything, is anything highlighted?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, but that's like, so what I love about what's happening with mobile and photography is like, I feel like the progression there is much faster than with mirrorless and cinema cameras. But at the same time, I hope that some of that tech works its way backward, because how cool would it be to have an A7S III that records a depth map for focus and you're good to
Just
go.
the A7S III period. So when I see you at Vidsum, I'm gonna like be like, hey, let me see the camera.
You're like,
Show me
yeah.
the Sony.
Whatever.
Yeah, nice
Sagi,
to
let
see
me
you.
just-
Yeah, just hand over the
hand
camera.
it over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You can leave now, Sagi.
We just need a moment. We just need a moment. Shelly and the Sony.
It really is. It's good. Like, it's a pretty special camera. They did a really good job with it.
Did you watch the video? Oh shoot, it was such a big collab now. I forget who even started the whole thing. It's like what all of these YouTubers shoot on. And it's maybe a few months old, but it was like almost every single one of them was like Sony A7S III and blank lens. Sony A7S III and blank lens. And I was just like, okay, we get it. Why don't we just call this video, what lens do I put on my Sony A7S III? Okay, I got it. But that was in the height of like my anger of like, you're so dumb. Why don't you just go buy that camera? And I'm like, because wallet is crying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So.
And I'm still shooting Canon. I'm on Canon.
Oh, are you? Which one? EOS R?
I have a C200 right there. That's what we're on right now.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
No, because not for the reason. So I started with I started with a 5D Mark II and a 5D Mark III.
Nice.
Then couldn't deal with the 30-minute record limit because I talk for so long in my videos. So that didn't work. So then my only option back then, because I already invested in the lenses, was C100 Mark IIs. So I bought two of them.
Okay.
And I've been using that. I love those. Like, I wouldn't have even upgraded. The only problem with them is there's only center autofocus.
Oh,
Like, you can't
You
move.
can't go wide. You can't. Oh,
Nope.
Interesting.
That's it. In the center, you can't even like move the point. Not only can you not go wide, you can't move the point. It's just center. Which means if I'm framed like this, it's going to focus here. Not so good.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But
Or, like,
it gave me unlimited recording, and it gave me it's got a
incremental
built-in
improvement.
ND filter. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
not
is
great.
nice. That is nice.
So that's why I upgraded to the C200, and now I have face detection. So yay.
That is nice. One of the my friends, a lot of them, because I used to kind of dabble in the beauty world, still do for fun from time to time, but some of them do like the would you buy that, or like makeup wish list or stuff like that. So a lot of them sit on the side and then put the image of the thing up on the side. So I'm just imagining them with that camera like focusing on absolutely the wrong things. Like,
They'd be sweet. They would move, so it would just be focused behind them. It would be awesome. Like, it's so blurry.
it would be like, yeah, right there.
Like
Perfect.
that f1.4. You're like, are you even there?
Yeah.
I
Well, one of
hear
the
you.
reasons that I decided to go for that 16 to 35 on the full frame, because I'm going to try and shoot with that as my main camera now, is because I don't want to use bokeh on my background. Like, I don't care about, like, I want it to all be in focus, and I don't want it to be fuzzy. So I was like, oh, okay, well, then I might as well go ahead and go with this one with the f.4 and call it a day. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how
Save
it
money.
goes. Exactly. But I still spent lots of pennies on it, even though it was
Yeah.
used.
It's
I
like-
can't afford that G
It's a
lens
sliding
life.
scale.
It really is. Yeah. And I'm still mad. And I'm like, I'm so excited. Like, I literally just went to the UPS store to pick up that camera, but I'm like, girl, you so dumb. You know you want the flip out screen. What you doing? But I digress.
Yeah, I mean, buy it nice or buy it twice or 4 times.
Or 4 times. Yeah.
You're like, no, so here's what you're doing that works, though. You're incrementally buying more expensive cameras. So then that last jump is not as big a jump.
Yeah,
You're just
right? All of a
working
sudden it's
your
like,
way.
what's an extra, $700 when, like, from the beginning, see, it would have been, like, $2,500. So, you see, Shelly's smart.
It works.
Not smart. Thank you for that. So I also want to say hello to, so Viper wants to correct, it was Gerald Undone that did the video with everybody and
nice.
their mom
Thanks,
for
Viper.
the, for that collab video, which it really should just be what lens is on my A7S III. And then Alicia wants to say hello. And then Adam's Exploits wants you to know that I know the topic is iPhone 13, but we don't have any opportunities to watch Sagi live. So you don't seem to go live a lot, maybe, and it sounds like people want to see more of you.
Okay, that's fair. I go live on Instagram sometimes.
What platform are you on right now?
YouTube.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So when do you go live on YouTube?
Never. Like 3 years ago, maybe. Okay, so fair enough. That's fair. That's a fair point.
I think they're just saying, we love you. We love you. We want to see more of you. And you're like, have you heard of this platform called Instagram? Where the lives disappear.
Never heard of
it.
I don't know what you're saying, Sagi. No.
It's not just a photo sharing platform anymore.
I work for Instagram, evidently. No.
Actually, though,
so I guess,
one of the speakers at Vidsum is John Yushai, and he used to be head of IGTV, and now he's also doing influency things. And I saw him speak last year at the last Vidsum. No, because he left Instagram and he's now doing.
No, I was just saying, you
YouTube.
said influency. I like the term influency things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, smile.
Mm-hmm. What are you trying to say, Sagi?
I like it.
Because it doesn't sound like you really like it. It was incredulous.
Look at this smile.
Okay, there it is. But he's going to be doing another talk this year. But I saw him speak at the last Vid Summit, and he's fantastic. And I just thought that was really interesting about his whole. If you never watched or heard of his Instagram TV best tips and how to keep audience, maybe you should do that since that's the only place you go live.
Burn. Okay, I will be going live on YouTube.
You guys heard it first. Woo woo.
Adam's Exploits, you can come, Shelly. You're banned from the channel. Hide user from channel.
Wow.
No.
I probably earned that.
No.
No, it's fine.
Although I have I'm quick to ban. I'm super quick to ban.
Side note. So I think there was just one day this week where our social media manager, Judah, was, out sick. And so they were like, hey, can you guys help with some of the Instagram comments and the Facebook things and, all these different sites? And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, let's do it. And so I don't usually have access to those. I don't go in there. But they gave me the keys to the kingdom and they really should not have because so I put it. I was like, oh no, this was a mistake because I am also quick with the ban hammer. And I think one of the things that really gets me is I tweeted it out earlier this week, and this is because I had literally just spent hours going through old posts and banning everyone who only drops a link to a YouTube channel across Instagram, Facebook, whatever, all these different sites that we have. And I'm just when does that ever work? It seems like everyone and all of the messages, bless Judah's heart. I don't know how he does it because I don't have the patience for message 1 through 100 being help me grow my YouTube channel, not in the way of by giving me more education. It was give me a shout out, help me buy subs. It was everything you can think of except for working hard and making videos. Do you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
Every shortcut you can think of except for actually doing the work is what they wanted. How do I, monetize without 1,000 subscribers? And all of these different things, and it was just one eye-opening because I'm I don't know how you do that because I can't. But the amount of DMs that are only just YouTube links and promote, and I'm people have audacity. They got some balls on them to only be in your DM to be promote me, and then the number of people that were here's how much it is for, buying 4,000 hours of watch time, or buy real watch time, buy these subscribers, buy,
Wow.
you know, all this stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And so I was just like, ban, hide user from channel, hide user, ban. Like I probably banned hundreds of people this week. And I was just like, you know what works better than all of this? Making more videos.
Like making more better videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like for me, if you're rude to another viewer, immediately just you're done. And if you're rude to me, I'll probably like read. I'll still read what you have to say. Like if you're criticizing the video, I'll probably read. But I remember when I started, I was really trying to like sort of convince people and like have
Same.
a conversation. But like
They don't want to be convinced.
if you can't be polite and civil, so now it's like strike one.
And they're not going to change their mind. They're not like leaving that comment so that you can change their mind. And that's what because I am an imagine that I'm an over-explainer and I want people to like me even if it doesn't seem like it. And so if I feel that you've gotten the wrong impression of me, then I will go on for hours trying to explain how that's not what I meant. But it doesn't change anybody's mind. And so a lot of these people, since they don't want to be convinced, I think it's easier just to disengage and just be like, they're just not going to like you, girl. Get over it, which is tough. But yeah, it's something that I've definitely had to learn over the years. But that's just me. I also have a very extensive list now of blocked words on my channel, mostly because some of them were already there because, you know, racial things, sexist things, whatever things. And then every time I get a new interesting type of one that I was like, I have never heard that one before.
You're like,
and added
okay.
to the library. I was like, thank you for that. I didn't know
You're
that
like,
was
well, I admire your creativity.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even know you could put those words together, but now that's a new one for my And I think you saw, like I sent you some of my greatest hits.
That's awesome.
That people send me.
I mean, it's not awesome that it happened, but like what you did with it.
I have multiples of those. Yeah, I have one that like there was a whole thing about a kid, and I actually found his dad. Anyways,
it got real there for a second.
Oh, it did.
Okay,
his dad was appalled at his son's like interactions, and I was just like, he was like, my son wouldn't, and I was like, screenshot. And I'm like, I have proof. I come with receipts because I am good at customer service, and here you are. And he was just like, what the hell? Anyways. And I said, I'm more than happy to jump on a Zoom call with you if you'd like me to talk about what happened and led up to, he's like, no, I will take care of it. And I was like, okay. So don't say I didn't offer. All right, let's talk about the colors. Every year they usually introduce one new kind of specific color, or sometimes more when it comes to some of the smaller phones. I don't understand why, but it seems like sometimes the regular phones get better colors than the better phones, or I'm not going to say better phones, the Pro series of phones. So last year, you know, we had the Pacific Blue one, which I thought was beautiful. I did get that. The year before that was the Forest Green, which I thought was beautiful. I got that. This year we have Sierra Blue. What do we think of the specialized colors, and is that even a feature?
I mean, it looks okay. So I'm not a great. I will always have a case on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like
What kind of case is that? Nomad?
It's an ESR case.
ESR.
I really like how it just feels great, protects the phone. So, but my point is I am not allowed to not have a case on my phone. I will break my phone.
You are not allowed?
It will not last
Did someone tell you that to your face?
My bank account. Apple actually really liked it. There was like I could just have a subscription. They would send me every month. Like, yeah, it's the back this time. This time it's the front. I'll see you with $200 in a couple of hours. But so I always have a case, but like the color is just sweet. Like when you just look at them, they're just so beautiful. So I can see the fact that like I don't get to see my phone in its sheer beautiness.
She get a clip case.
Yeah, but those then it's like you could see stuff that's caught between the case and the phone somehow. I don't know how it makes it in there.
Case.
And then I have friends that like don't have cases and don't have screen protectors, and I don't know how they do it. So
yours was not to reason why. Yours was not to question.
No, it's like Sagi, you don't need to explain. Like you just need to have a screen protector and a case. Otherwise, you can't have a phone. So I love the colors. I love.
It's kind of like the shirt
that
that you're
new
wearing.
blue looks awesome. Yeah. What? Oh, we can't talk about what color you got yet.
We can talk
It's
about
like I have that rubber band.
I know. I really
Like
did.
I almost said it.
I was really hoping for like a better pink or like a better like purple. And like I don't know why, but sometimes you don't get those choices in the Pro phones, and it's just dumb. So
Like, do you feel like they should have all the colors in all the phones?
Yes.
And then, okay, so here's another question. How do you feel about this is dangerous. This is as far as I go. This is it.
About the color
No,
coordinated
here. Watch,
cases?
I'm going to drop it. No, like, how do you feel about the metallic edges and the matte back versus, like,
the more
on the...
Yeah. It's weird because if you think about it, it's just a different tactile experience between one versus the other, right? And so like the sides, that aluminum versus that, you know, stainless steel or whatever it is, and like that frosted glass almost look. And so it's kind of like, is that really even a difference that's going to make a lot of people like notice anything, when the fact that like most of the time people are going to put a case on it? You know what I mean? Like some of it was knowing that like I got the green phone, which means that you know that I have this one, or I got the Pacific blue phone, which means you know that I had the Pro model version. You throw on a case and you see only the camera bump, you know, and then you're like, and you lose almost all of that. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm not always a fan of like such a differential experience. Personal opinion on that one though.
Like I wish you could get, I don't remember, like I wanted the two blue phones from the 12, but I wanted the sides of the Pro and the back of the the sides of the 12 and the back of the Pro.
I didn't like the sides of the Pro and Pro Max because it feels like you could never keep it clean. And I know they were like, oh, it's so much better, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I actually got really, really pissed off during my unboxing because of the fact that I put them side by side between the 11 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max. And the 12 Pro Max ended up scratching up the front of my 11 Pro Max.
Wait,
and
what?
I was pissed. I was so upset because I put them, you can see them in the video for just a second, and I put them side by side, and it ended up leaving like etching in the glass of the 11 Pro, which, was the first time I'd ever had anything mark up that phone. And I was pissed, especially because I ended up returning that phone. So I was like, I have the scar battle wounds to prove that like I tried this other phone. And again, my stupid ass was like, this is going to be a great idea. Editor's note, it was not a good idea. I was so mad. I was so mad. Okay, so there's colors, and I believe that, yes, colors should be available for everyone. We only have 2 left. We don't really have to talk about the processor. It's the A15. Yay, a little bit more GPU cores, all that good stuff. Not that big. I don't think a lot of people are going to be that, whatever. We can talk a little bit about the screen, the 120 hertz adaptive refresh rate on the Pro series. Kind of cool, kind of not. A little outdated, and it needed to happen, but like, what do you think?
Like, I mean, okay, it's one of those things where, like, if I'm using my iPad Pro or my iPad Air 4, do I notice a difference? Yes. But if I'm only using my iPad Air 4, do I ever think, this is horrible, like, it doesn't have promotion? No. So I think it's going to be one of those things that, like, if you have, I mean, again, for most people, like, unless you're doing something very specific where it would help, most people are probably... I would love to do a test, like a blind test with non-techies, with no prompts. Just be like, use the phone, tell me what you think. And like, what would be the feedback that you'd get about the refresh rate? Like, I'm never going to hate having it. Like, it is better. I like it better. Is it a binary feature for me in a phone? Personally, it's not. And so, like, here's a question. This would be another question. Like, would you take an extra 30% battery life and give up 120?
Yes. Well, I even said before that if I was to get into the iPhone 13 and it had 120, which everyone was speculating, thinking that it had to have it, I was like, most people say that they want that just because it looks good on a tagline, but then they're going to go into their camera settings or their phone settings and probably turn on 60 hertz so they can save battery life, because battery life at the end of the day is more important than an experience which they already make look really good. You know, a 60 hertz, it's like the best display you can have at 60 hertz, honestly, to be fair. And with this adaptive one anyway, it's not going to be so noticeable until you actually notice it. And you have things that you're actually seeing would use that, like our graphics and gaming or something like that, some of the video stuff. Because most of the time, if it is in that range where it's going to fluctuate anyway, you think you're using 120 when all you're doing is browsing a website, you know, and it's not at that. So...
But you'll notice it when you're browsing, because you'll notice it when you're scrolling.
Depends on how fast you're scrolling.
But also, like, I mean, so again, it's one of those things where, like, if you need to draw my attention to it, is it worth it? I can't wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say I would take more battery life. Absolutely.
I have a phone that has it coming tomorrow. It's possible.
All right. Okay, we already kind of talked about the video, so... There wasn't much that we didn't not cover except for macro mode in video as well, which seems pretty darn cool. I think that's the only other thing we didn't hit. We talked about the cinematic mode a lot. Anything else in video that you want to talk about except for the ProRes, which is ginormous file sizes apparently?
Yeah, no, like, again, I'd love to, wouldn't you love to, like, see analytics of, like, how many people like use each feature just to get a breakdown of, like, oh, this is what, like, or like what convinced you to buy it. So I'm like, as far as video, what I know from all the years of covering cameras and lenses and all of that stuff is I need to see how it works for me in my hand. Like, just seeing the results that someone else can do of like what someone else can do, like, it's not enough. So I'm really excited to actually try, and it's like, oh, like, this macro mode is awesome, right? And now then you're like, okay, now that I know that I can do that, what can I creatively accomplish with that? So that part.
I would say the things that most people even really care about is show me macro mode, show me cinematic mode. I feel like a lot of the other stuff is like not really that big a deal of being talked about. Because like for me, I didn't give two tiny squirrel butts about like the different camera filters or anything like that. I don't know. I was trying to think of something, and that's all I could come up with.
The squirrel makes a second appearance in this live stream. Went from squirrel brains to squirrel butts.
Mm-hmm. Tip to toe.
You don't care. Okay, so you didn't like the whole idea of like being able to save your edits and then apply.
No,
again,
not at all.
It's kind of like a LUT, kind of like a filter.
But if I wanted a LUT or if I wanted like a preset, then I would just go to Lightroom and add it. Or I would just use the same filter that I would maybe use inside of Instagram, because I don't know if you've seen my Instagram game, but it's weak. I'm not very good at photos. So like it meant nothing to me. Like keeping an aesthetic. And I'm like, I have no aesthetic. No. So for me, I did not give two tiny squirrel butts about that. So, but you're excited about it as a photographer, so.
Yeah, well, ish, honestly. Like, again, it's all these new features. Like, some of these new features, I don't know how good they're going to be until I see them. So, like, for the most part, I could say, no, I'm still going to take my camera when I want to take a real photo. But again, that gap is shrinking too. And at some point, it's like, how good does it need to be?
Well, not only that, if you can already shoot RAW and manipulate it like a real photo from your camera, and let's just hope that you're not shooting like extra fancy JPEGs inside of your A6400, you actually might have a better one, even with a smaller sensor on a phone.
JPEGs.
I'm not.
Don't judge my JPEGs.
I'm not.
They're fine.
No, I'm not.
I'm
just
fine.
saying. But you know what I'm saying? Like people also forget, like if they're shooting JPEG off their camera anyway that can do RAW, and they're shooting RAW on their phone, what's that file difference going to look like anyway, really, in the edit?
I'm going to like the bigger sensor, I feel like, no matter what. And, like, if I want, like, natural bokeh instead of, like, portrait mode, I guess it depends on what you're shooting.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever see the video Matty Hapoya did with his brother about shot on an iPhone and shot with a regular full-frame camera, and then putting the same shot side by side, and then guessing which one was shot on a phone? And then it was like an A/B thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, a long time. Like it was like years ago, right? I think that video is maybe a year maybe that video's a year old or something like that.
I did see it. I saw it when it came out.
Yeah, and honestly, I was like, a lot of the time, a lot of the people got it wrong. Or Peter McKinnon also did one as well, where he's like, I shot one, or he was also in the video where he was guessing which one was a phone and which one was the real camera. And I'm like, if it takes that many talented people and they still got it wrong half the time, I just...
So I think the difference will come down to what types of shots you're going to take. Like, I feel like someone standing against a wall, you taking a picture, boy... Man, people are going to be 50-50 on that. Like, they're going to just be guessing, right? And
I like how you went boy, men. And then immediately in my head, my squirrel brain went to boys to men, ABC, BB. I don't know why.
I got you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you for
nice.
that.
I mean, this, what's it called? Like the stream of consciousness that you're sharing. Right. There should be it should just come down the side. Like, what's going on? What's going through Shelly's brain right now?
Oh, we would be in trouble. It would be the most randomized.
Redacted.
That was stupid. Strike that. Shelly, you're a dumb person. Stop it.
No,
I say
but
that to myself.
think that's a really good point, though. Like, if it takes effort to tell the difference, and where's that picture going anyways?
It goes on Instagram where they then also downgrade the
someone?
Quality. Because they run that through a compressor and it's never going to look as good anyway.
Fact.
So at that point,
I don't know what
you
that platform is that you talked about.
It's this place where sometimes people try and go live, but then they forget oh, this isn't YouTube. Oops. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the one.
Full circle.
Yeah, no worries. That's what we do. Okay, so after all that being said, obviously we know that you're getting one. So which one are you getting, or is it multiple? Which ones are you getting?
I got all of them. So
I'm not judging you.
Okay.
I mean, this is your job. So you would unbox all of them, and
I did.
Which ones did you get? Sizes. Give me all the details.
Gosh. So sizes I got. Oh, you mean memory? Hold on. Now I need to go and actually find what I don't remember is the colors.
Okay.
So this is happening live. Yeah, this is super interesting. I should have. Okay. So I got...
If you had read the email with the calendar invite, you would see one of the things at the bottom of it. It says,
I'm going to have to go and fact check this claim of yours.
It says, at the end, I will ask you if you decided to buy a phone, and you can share it.
All right. So we're gonna quiz you. The iPhone 13. I just want you to pick colors. Okay. The 13. Which color?
Wait. I just need you to see this really quick. This is the calendar invite that I sent you. This is all of the pre-information
for
the show.
Is it?
Yes, that's literally why I'm holding it up. That's the whole point. And at the end it says, I will ask you if you plan to get one or which ones you ordered and maybe why you chose which ones you did.
I think that's in your drafts folder. I think it's in your drafts
See right here where it said looking forward to chatting with you? I should have strike that.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay.
I think you
iPhone
absolutely
13.
ordered the 13
What
Pro
color?
Max with Sierra blue.
No. That's not
sorry.
what I'm asking. I'm asking the iPhone 13.
Okay.
What color would I get?
Starlight.
1 for 1. Good job. The iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Oh, Sierra blue.
I went with graphite. Sorry.
Okay. I would have thought you wanted to see more of the blue. So you get on the largest device, so you see more blue.
That's a good point. See, you weren't there when I was making this decision.
I'm pretty smart.
The 13 Pro.
Did you get gold?
No, in Sierra Blue, you just said.
Well, okay.
Okay, and then the mini.
I don't know, but I like.
Just out of the box.
Blue.
Red.
Okay. Product red is actually very attractive.
Yeah, I haven't had one. Okay, so now to you.
To me,
Since you so
did you also get
patiently waited.
Did you also get an iPad Mini? Did you get it in the beautiful lilac color?
I got the iPad mini in Starlight.
Okay. That purple is
which
like
I
beautiful,
immediately regretted.
Yeah.
I want it in purple now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I loved it because it was like, it's kind of gray, it's kind of lavender, it's kind of, that shift. And I was just like,
yeah,
this is beautiful.
So here's the thing. Like, I don't know. Do you have an iPad Air 4?
No.
All right. So, like, those colors, I feel like were a little more muted in real life than I thought they would be, than, like, what I saw at the event. And so, like, I feel like part of that is I want to see the color in real life before choosing it, but I have to choose before I see it in real life. So once I started seeing the purple in videos, I was like, oh, that's super cool.
It's beautiful,
I like
right?
that.
Did you used to go to the events in person?
Yeah.
Were you one of the cool kids that got
I'm
invites?
definitely not a cool
I've
kid.
never been a cool kid, I'll tell you that. All the way back to high school, I was a band nerd. Whew, we got stories. Okay,
Same.
so clarinet. I wasn't even cool enough to play saxophone. I wanted to. They wouldn't let me. So the one that I ended up getting is the iPhone 13 Pro in Sierra Blue. So yes, it's coming tomorrow, and I got one of the OtterBox little marbleized cases for it too.
Nice.
It was beautiful. I wanted to get that blue one, but I thought that big dot on the back of it was kind of like weird, so I went with the black one. Which I was a little mad because, like, in that, I feel like in the picture it seems like there might even be like a tiny river of blue running through it. It's probably not. It's an optical illusion, but I wanted to think that it had that, so I could be like, ooh, yeah, look at this color coordination. And that's because I didn't want to deal with Amazon and trying to, like, buy a case and everything. And I was just like, just let me get a case. So, did you buy a case and accessories, MagSafe, wallets, all that stuff?
I have some cases already. And I have MagSafe from last year, so I should be all set there. Yeah, like I said, there's. Oh, okay. I will make my own point. The iPhone 10. The 10S I got before I got a case for it, right? I ordered a case immediately. I had it in a pouch in my pocket the whole time. Somehow I scratched the display, like big old scratch right through it. So
and immediately when you said that, my squirrel brain went, I got a pocket full of iPhone. Couldn't I? See, if you had this running stream of you'd be like, what the hell?
No, I almost, like, so here's what I want. I want this feature. This should be like a paid feature where you can
What's
have Shelly
thinking right now?
Nope. Like, not even that. Like, so people can just have a live stream and you're watching, and then all of a sudden your green screen, you just pop right out of the bottom and you just say something and you disappear. It's like that. You're like, when that goes by, you just, boom,
you're
deliver
welcome.
it. Immediate. Like, yeah, exactly. You're welcome. I'll be here all week.
Pretty much. And pretty much because I don't leave my house. So I'll be here all week until next week, where I will see you at Vidsum. I'm very excited about it, honestly. Because I had purchased tickets to Vidsum directly after the last Vidsum, and then they had it postponed for a year. So it's been since, 2018 or something since it's happened. So I'm very excited. And this is your very first Vidsum.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, YouTube is still fairly new to me.
Yeah, I read in your bio you said life serial entrepreneur. What kind of entrepreneurial things were you creating?
So when I was 23 maybe, I wrote like a web-based property management system. So it was like cloud-based system for like inns and bed and breakfasts, and
so you're a software engineer.
Yep. And then
you say that like you're ashamed
later,
of it. I don't know why you're saying it like that.
No, sure.
You're like, eh.
Yeah, that's true. And then I ran a web design and marketing firm for like 9 years, which overlapped. And I sort of started doing YouTube at the same, like while I was still doing both of those things, so I didn't have any time. And so it's really only been about like 2 years. So, I mean, like I wouldn't have even known about VidSummit, that like it would have even existed as a thing to go.
Yeah.
But that's like full circle to Clubhouse. I feel like Clubhouse, like as a creator, it was, those first few months were so cool.
Yeah, the first few months were cool. Now, not so much. I hardly go in there anymore, honestly, but.
Yeah, I mean, now it's different. Like I go and I think I talk for the majority of time to the same group of people. So it's like cool for that. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on in there. And I feel like it's not a great algorithm in like trying to predict what I would want to listen to.
No, not at all.
And like there are only so many times where I can put like, don't show me this type of room. Anyways, different
wow, you
conversation.
actually interact, and wow, like, no, I love the side squirrel conversations because that makes me feel right at home with my squirrel brain. Yay for that. Also, Angelique is in the comment section. By the way, Angelique, beautiful new profile photo in the black and white version on the Facebook. It is gorgeous. Let me know, did you take that with your phone or did you take that with a fancy camera? Because I'm still thinking that a lot of the time people are taking all of this stuff with phones. And audience, did we also ask you if you're getting which phone? Which phone? And the answer to the question, we're coming back full circle to where we started. If you were in giving advice. So Annette was saying she had the iPhone 11 and would it be worth it to upgrade to the 13? I said in the DM, I was like, if you don't need some of these extra features, I don't think it's worth it. If you had a 12, I definitely don't think it's worth it. I think if you had a 10 and earlier, then it's worth it. But for 11 is really walking that fine line between, do you need cinematic mode? Do you need the sensor shift? Do you need some of that low light photography extras? Otherwise, it's weird because going from that curvy edge to the flat edge itself is still a different experience as well. So I was like, honestly, unless you need all those extra things, I might just ride out and into the sunset with my 11 Pro Max. But what would you say to someone?
I mean, I would echo a lot of those. Like, my first question when anyone says, or my response when someone's like, is it worth the upgrade? It's like, why are you upgrading? What is it that, because if you're just upgrading to upgrade because you want something new and cool, okay, well, I don't really need to convince you. It is new and it is cool and it is better, right? Like, that's sort of how we started. We know that. And then, like, are you trying to solve like specific pain points with this upgrade? And does this, I know we're talking about iPhone 13, but like in general, whatever this new thing, does it actually help with those things? So for me, going from the, like, I totally agree with you, from the 10, 10S to the 13, like the camera alone, I even think the average person, because like as the cameras get better, it's just easier for someone who's not a photographer to take better pictures.
Take great
so
photos.
It's like,
yeah,
exactly. So it's almost like the person who doesn't care as much or like is never going to lock exposure and focus and then raise or drop the exposure. That person is going to benefit from the better camera more than someone who knows, oh, the AI, they're not exposing for what I want. Let me adjust that myself. So in that regard, if pictures are important to you, and like I heard this, I don't remember where, but like we only get one chance to take every photo. And so like you go to like if you're taking a picture of your dog, that's it. Like next week, like it's or a year from now, you're going to look back. So like, why not take the best picture you can every time? So like with that logic, I'm like, yeah, upgrade and get the better camera. But going from the 12 to the 13,
I don't think it's worth it for anyone who's on the 12. I would wait for the 14. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, and then you'll get other stuff.
Yeah, and I decided to make the switch because I did like the fact, like, I want to play with cinematic mode and the macro video, and that stuff is actually really exciting to me. So that's one of the big reasons why I did it. And I think
I've got a challenge for you then.
Oh,
so
no.
I feel like since you are getting it, no, this is good. I think that this ties into the other stuff you were talking about.
This is one of those,
so since
this
you're
is a
getting
life lesson that's good for you.
It's going to be awful for you. But no. Why, like, you should almost be like, yes, I'm just taking my phone now to Vidsum. I'm getting this thing, and it's got cinematic mode, and this is what I'm getting, is what it is.
So
unless you buy the A7S3, then you can bring that. Go ahead.
Don't you threaten me with a good time. I'm this close. I've done 3 camera swaps. I'm inching my way there. So
I will do it again, Sagi. I will.
I will. If you threaten me with a good time, I will collect. So the Pixel Pixel 6 Pro or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
Depending on what the price point is of that, would you say that someone might have a better experience with that versus the iPhone 13? And what do you think the price difference is going to be there? Because a lot of people would maybe balk at like $1,500 for a phone, you know, but maybe the Pixel coming out is going to be what, $799, $899? I don't know. This is our first foray into a real pro level phone. They've given us a lot of $449 phones or $599 phones. So I'm kind of thinking this one's going to be $799. I don't know. It's still not the $999 like flip, or I don't know.
So it's tough because I think a lot of people that like are making the phone decision based on like operating system, almost more than features. So I always look at those and I think, is this phone going to convert someone? Like, is this phone good enough to move someone from an iPhone to an Android phone? Period. Like, independent of which one it is. Like, I could look at like the Fold. Like, the Fold is such a different phone experience that I could see someone being like, well, I can't really get that with an iPhone. I want to try that because it's something, or the Flip, something that's completely new.
I really like the Flip, actually. If I was to get a foldable, I would totally get the Flip.
Okay, have you ever held the Fold and played, like, and used it? Or either one of them? Or not yet?
So I had a beta version of the Flip from last year. That was in one of the, from the manufacturer, really heavy cases. And it definitely had that weird like crease in the center, and it was not great in that outside display, not having a lot of info on it. But I was like, I see where they're going with this, and I think there's some really cool stuff coming. I'm not a huge fan sometimes of the Samsung everything, like their weird apps that they choose, you know, or like when they had Bixby or like that experience. It seems very bloated to me. And I enjoy the simplicity of like not that. But you know that also like FaceTime is coming to like Android devices and some of that. The only things I never gave two tiny squirrel butts about the green and, you know, the chat. Yeah, I never cared at all about it.
It's a total of 4 squirrel butts.
It's the same 2 squirrel butts. I never cared anything about them. One cheek, other cheek. I never cared about the iMessage thing. Never. So the only thing that's really held me is the AirDrop. Otherwise, I don't really mind. I've shot tons of like videos on like the Samsung device or on the Pixel device, and then the whole like waiting for it to upload to the cloud or something and then trying to download it later. That will just drive someone bonkers. And even if it is the 1 gig, 1 minute like airdropping from one to the other, I would much rather have that experience than the drive in between. So anyways, that's a whole other thing.
I actually just put out a video today like comparing the Fold and the Flip. And the Flip is cool. Like, I look at the Flip. The Flip is cool if you want a regular phone like this size, but then you want it to be smaller. But my one problem with the Flip this year still is that the display on the cover isn't functional enough. Like, it's better than it was before, but you can't. So that means you're committed to opening that phone every single time. Every single time you want to do anything. Yep. And I'm not complaining. Like, it just is what it is. That's the reality of using that phone. And, like, the Fold kind of gives you the ability to do some stuff. And I swear, like, when I opened it for the first time and it turned on, it was like an involuntary smile. You're just like, that's pretty. Like,
it's nice, cool. I guess. But how often are you going to use it like that?
All the time. Seriously, most of the time. And I didn't think so. Like, I got the Fold in spite of myself, because I was like, I'm like, if I want a tablet, I'll get a tablet.
Exactly.
And then you have it with you, and you're not at home, and you open it, and whatever you're doing, like browsing the web or even social media or watch it, and everything is just bigger, and it just looks nice. This, like, I would not have said this before. I was like, I don't know, I don't get it. But my biggest thing with it is like the weight. Like, you
it's
really
so thick,
feel like you feel like you're carrying.
You
this
feel
thing.
Definitely like you're carrying it. That's
the case situation, because I'm not allowed to have a phone without a case, And if you add a case
extra
to it,
bulk.
then you're either covering the cut thing, or then it gets even thicker, and there's no place to put the S Pen, so I didn't get that because I'm going to lose it. Anyways, I know we just kind of went off
No,
topic,
you're
but
fine. That's
more
exactly
phones.
what we do.
More phones,
Pixelpia
it
is
is
saying the Flip is just a version of the dear old Razor. Do you remember the Motorola? Like, do you remember when they tried to revamp it and bring it back again? My
Yes.
nostalgic little heart. I was like, what's next? Like the sidekick? Like, with the little rotating. I'm like,
So, I mean, but like you remember actual flip phones, like
oh yeah.
from
Oh, I
back in
had
the
tons
day.
of them. Oh.
Yeah.
Apparently, just as an aside, if you want
Okay.
to know how old someone is, you say, hey, pretend I'm calling you on the phone right now. Ring, ring. This is where you pretend I'm calling you on the phone. What would you do if
Do I need
if
to
I
pick
said,
it up?
Yeah.
Now I'm old.
So if you do one of these, it
Uh-huh.
means like you would know that you're like old because all the young kids now do like a flat because they're used to like
Interesting.
yeah. So apparently that's how you know if you're above a certain
Apparently,
age.
I was using.
I don't know what
something
you're
like
doing. It
this.
was like something
I
in
don't know
between.
what I was talking on. Well, what I was doing is I was holding.
It's the banana phone.
receiver.
I don't know. I don't know what that was, but I liked it. I was like, that's new. That's going in my blocked words list right there.
I don't
That's
know
a new
if
one.
He's using like a cup to his ear.
Exactly.
I don't
I
know
was like-
what he's doing.
It's a banana phone. That's just what it is.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Good. Just another fail. Just
And then-
add it to the.
No, it's fine. You know, Angelique does want you to know though, like, but we need to know, did you just ignore the email? The email from me to you with the calendar information.
I mean, I feel like
I didn't
at this
ask it. She
point,
said it. She
I
said
feel
it.
like at this point, it's still up in the air. It's one person saying one thing and another person saying something else.
Excuse
we don't
me,
want
receipts?
screenshots. That could say anything, Shelly.
The
No
one
one
that
knows.
says Shelly Sagi Triple T Thursday, right there. You guys can take a little screenshot of that guy with the, with all this
Yeah, good.
information.
It's
with
super
the
blurry. I mean, it kind of is like, you know how all the photos of Bigfoot are blurry? So I feel like that's what we're doing here. No, I probably did ignore it because
Do you need
I
me
don't
to
know.
take a screenshot and bring it in as an overlay inside of Ecamm because then it
No,
would
I'm
be
going to
less
use
blurry?
that email as a background in my next live show. I'm going to green screen it just so I can have that as my background.
No, I think you should. Yeah, because it
Okay.
says we usually start with the question of what's in your cup, so you should have known that.
Oh, I'm so glad I had a
This is
cup.
The agenda, and then exactly.
Anything could have happened.
Shit could have gone off the rails.
Thank
Ziggy.
you, Angelique, for if anyone could help me get out from under this bus, it'd be great. Thank you.
No. Let me just get into the driver's seat so we can back it up. Let's do it again.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good time.
Sagi,
Okay.
This is how
so-
you learn to open emails.
Sagi, first of all, thank you so much. I know that we ran over. If you want to tell people where they can find you, we do have some links to your channel and everything down below, but you want to tell people like where the best place apparently on Instagram to find you is?
So you can find me at Tech Gear Talk everywhere, even Instagram. Yeah, Twitter, Facebook,
Clubhouse.
I guess, if you use Facebook. YouTube, TikTok. I started using TikTok.
I love TikTok. I absolutely, I enjoy it.
I need lessons. I need TikTok lessons.
I don't know if you know this, but first of all, I gave lessons to the Niman brothers while I was in Thailand and visiting them. So not only did they get an in-person lesson from me.
Is that a name drop?
Oh yeah, let me just pick it up and do it again.
Good.
So the Niman brothers were also making their debut in one of my TikToks actually. So actually just one of them. It was just Nick. Nick joined me in a dancing TikTok for his TikTok debut.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
Nice. Okay.
Don't tell them they're not watching or anything, but I'm making them little shirts for when I see them at VidSummit that says Niman 1, Niman 2, like thing 1, thing 2. Because people always
That's
think
funny.
they're like
It's
twins
good
and
job.
stuff, right?
That's good work.
I've been waiting 2 years to give this to them, like, because I was,
And then they were
obviously.
like, I was just talking to you yesterday. Like, no, you were talking to
No,
him.
you know what's funny is I actually told them I was going to do this and give it to them at the next VidSummit, but then it got postponed for a year. So this thing has been 2.5 years in the making that I've been saying that I'm going to get and I am a person of my word. They will get their
This is
shirts.
great. There's no way they remember.
Oh,
This will be awesome.
let's not build it up. They won't be that awesome. But I'm excited for it because my little heart will go pitter-patter with like...
try to shoot it.
Check mark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you should.
Okay.
You should have them standing next to each other wearing the shirts. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah, since you know, we'll have an abundance of cameras there, and I'll just have my lowly iPhone. So...
Cinematic.
No, I'll just do the center, you know, like focus, so it'll only be on the shirts.
Anyway. That could be anyone wearing that.
I know. It could be merch. It could be merch. All right. So I do want to say thank you for hanging out. Is there anything that you'd like to tell the people for closing thoughts or anything like that?
Follow Shelly. I mean, I know you're here, so you're here for her. So, but yeah. No.
I don't think they're here for me.
You.
I don't think they are here for me. I think they're here for you. No, it's okay.
They are.
It's okay. I know my place in the world.
And the squirrels. So, no, but thank you so much for inviting me. This was fun. First time. We should do this again at some point. And I'm excited to meet you in person at Vidsum. Right. Should be fun.
Someone did mention...
It's so soon.
I know, it's next week. Someone was saying that, like, we fight like brother and sister. I'll take it. I only fight like that with people that I like. So there you go.
I think that's legitimate.
I think it's good. I think it's a good one. I was like, yeah.
But you know what? In the beginning, not of the stream, but like when we like started communicating over DM, I'm like, you know how you like you start talking to someone and you don't know if they're sarcastic or not. So it's like, I think it's a joke. If it's a joke, it's really funny. If it's not a joke, I'm sorry.
It's just kind of me.
Yeah. So I'm glad we cleared that up like in about a second. And yeah, this
when
works.
I usually say something like, dude, I'm messing with you or something like that, because I should really just program as a shortcut, because apparently my sarcastic, I think is witty type of banter doesn't go over well with some people, and they're like, what a bitch. And I'm like, I'm just being clever. You just didn't catch it. Sorry.
You didn't get it. Nice.
Sorry, it went over your head. Too sophisticated for you. But that's fine. It's fine.
It goes.
But yes, very excited to see you in just a few days now, which is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And Jessica will be there. I don't know if you saw, but Jessica Hatch from Gone to the Snow Dogs.
She's in there.
Yeah, she's down, and she will also be speaking on a panel that is being hosted by our own VP of Community at TubeBuddy, as well as Legal Eagle and Naz Daly. I think I said that right. And then Daniel Batal will be there as well. So that should be a fun panel as well. Very excited for that. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I will see you next week for another, Thursday. If you want to catch up with Sagi, go catch him on all of his socials. Probably Instagram is the best. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.